What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the Online Jamily? JamiroFan 2000 here, the beard of wisdom of the Online Jamily, with yet another new episode of JamiroFan Talks About. For the initiated of this series of nearly 9 years here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel, this has been my periodic discussion series looking at the past, present, and future of Jamiroquai and their now over 32 years of musical and influential making. Now, this is going to be a bit of a speculative, hypothetical episode of JamiroFan Talks About, so bear with me, but it's going to be concerning the upcoming 9th Jamiroquai album and when promotions for said album can happen. Now, over the last nearly 32 years of the band's history, promotions, at least in the pre-social media time period of the internet, usually pretty much emulated in an official website, either being up online or constantly updated. And a lot of the early Jamily, at least in the sense of Jamiroquai album releases and new releases, was doing greatly updated by a lot of the connections to the online Jamily from websites like the Funkin' Site and what have you. Now, in the social media era of Jamiroquai's album promotions, we'll just use the Automaton, the 2017 through 2020 era of Jamiroquai's 8th album release, as a little bit of a conversational guinea pig here. Now, the promotions, at least the official promotions for Jamiroquai's Automaton album era, at least back in 2016 into 2017, technically started on the Jamiroquai HQ social media that kind of emanated out of Facebook, Twitter X, or back then it was called Twitter, and Instagram. Around January of 2017 is when the promotions really started. And the promotions was kind of being very heavy on the music video for Automaton, and then a month later in February for Cloud 9. Now, using that, at least that mode of promotions for Jamiroquai albums in the past as a little bit of a template in regards to the 9th Jamiroquai album, which is still hopefully optimistically slated for a mid to late 2025 release. Basically, I expect that the promotions for the 9th Jamiroquai album, much like mirroring what happened with Automaton, might be starting at least, I want to say, speculatively 2 to 3 months prior to the release of the album. Now, this could change. They could go a completely different approach, but using Automaton as an example, Automaton's promotions was heavily on social media and, of course, on an email mailing list, which with every Jamiroquai album, at least going all the way back to, I want to say, Travel Without Moving, they redid the official website, and that was usually an indicator on when a new album era was, imminent, with Jamiroquai's online promotions through social media. Now, with Automaton, I believe it was between August and September of 2016, the official website put up a holding screen with JK Signature saying, "We will be right back," when they were augmenting the official Jamiroquai website, which of course was at jamiroquai.com and jamiroquai.co.uk, at least for the Japanese marketplace and the European marketplace, went physically offline. And that was the first album era I can remember, at least in the sense of online promotions of their official website, to actually put up a holding screen prior to its official website launched, I believe December of 2016 for the Automaton era. Now, like I said, with the 9th Jamiroquai album, things could be done differently, but given that it's starting to look like this 9th Jamiroquai album could be looking at a bit of maybe a fall and a winter of 2025 release, with the tour officially starting in November and stretching all the way to the end of December of 2025. If they do plan, and this is a big if, remind you, as I preface at the beginning of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About, this is still very speculative, and this is purely my interpretation of what could possibly happen. So please do not take this as the gospel and what's going to happen. I know as much as all of you know right now, and I can only share what I can when it becomes available. But with the indications of this album possibly coming out, and I hate to say this, coinciding with the beginning of the Heels of Steel tour, or whatever the title of the album is, we could possibly see, please, I'm stressing the word could, and I'm playing up a lot of just verbal disclaimers here, but we could see the promotions for the 9th Jamiroquai album if it's coming out to coincide with the tour in November, starting in November of 2025. We could see the promotion start sometime, maybe August, September, October, sometime in that period of the pre-autumn into autumn of 2025 period, mostly focused on their social media. And in this case, it would be all the places that they post regularly, which would be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, yes, TikTok, Twitter X, and of course, all over the social media. Now, I've done my part during the Automaton era mostly to report what I see when I see it on my social media. So I'm not saying that I do a brunt work of the promotions with Jamiroquai when in regards to new album eras, but given that I did a lot of the heavy lifting during the Automaton era, and that is not to discredit the amazing social media marketing that was done by Jamiroquai HQ and of course by Universal Music, Mercury Records, Virgin EMI during that time. I I had a lot of news breaks just using the Automaton era as an example during that time, and so I kind of beat them to the punch with some major source. So, like I said, and as I've been stressing as a disclaimer in this episode, JamiroFan Talks About, I speculatively could see the 9th Jamiroquai album era promotions possibly starting in the late summer to early autumn going into winter of 2025 if this album is going to coincide with the beginning of the 15 tour date known tour for the Heels of Steel tour in this fall and winter of 2025. And I thought this is a pretty fruitful topic to do a bit of a speculative episode JamiroFan Talks About for everybody in the Jamily to get them talking, because if anything I try to do in my social media and set the example for in promoting anything that we love online is to get everybody talking and get a conversation going. So I'm most interested in hearing all of your opinions on this topic. When do you think the 9th Jamiroquai album promotions will start? Do you think it'll start in the summer, or do you think they'll wait to a few months prior to the beginning of the tour? And as we recently learned in a recent interview with Derek McKenzie on a guest podcast that I will be reporting in a future episode of the Jamiroquai Minute here on my channel, Jamiroquai plans on going into the studio to start their rehearsals for this big 15 tour date tour of Heels of Steel sometime in October of 2025, which pretty much follows their pattern of doing across-the-board band rehearsals for a big tour, usually about a month to 2 months prior to a major tour commitment or big major tour, which is pretty much going to kickstart the 9th Jamiroquai album tour this late 2025. But I'm most interested in hearing all of your opinions. When do you think the promotions of the 9th Jamiroquai album will start? Please feel free to share your thoughts down in the comments section of this episode JamiroFan Talks About down below upon its upload on my YouTube channel and of course on my social media if I choose to upload this episode. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000 and I hope you enjoyed this episode of JamiroFan Talks About. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe and ding the bell on your YouTube to stay up to date on all the latest new content coming from the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel as we progress into the spring and hopefully a very busy dog days of summer of 2025. I will fully endeavor in trying to bring you all the latest Jamiroquai news as it becomes available. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000, and I'll see you really soon with another JamiroFan Talks About. What a heck of a Freudian slip for me to do there. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000, and I'll see you again really soon with more content here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you around.